Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, December 23rd, 2022. Welcome to another eBay video. Today we're going to be discussing the following eBay topics. A Christmas present from eBay, another buyer circumventing the eBay return process and calling me directly. We're also going to be talking about some other problems that have cropped up in interesting situations, your comments, questions, and concerns from last week. So yeah, before we get started, let me explain the situation. Like last week, I'm filming this video in two parts. I have a lot of ground to cover, and I'm also concerned we might lose power tonight. This part of the video is actually being filmed on Thursday afternoon. See it? There's the paper. So you know it is Thursday afternoon. And I want to film a chunk of it now, just in case anything bad happens tonight. Now, as you can see, it's cloudy and raining. We cannot catch a break with the weather. It's cloudy and rainy every day. Even when they say it's going to be sunny, it's cloudy. But they're saying a major storm that's been going across the country is going to hit us tonight with heavy winds and heavy rain. Continuing into tomorrow, the temperature is going to plummet to 10 degrees. I'm not concerned about the cold. I'm not even concerned about the heavy rain. But the wind makes me very nervous because we tend to lose power very easily. So, I'm going to hedge my bets and get the video started right now. I'm going to start out with your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video. Rubber Wilbur said, Joe, I think the reason you got all 4 notifications at the same time had to do with your phone service and the phone tower or satellite. Your phone service for a brief minute is offline while the buyer keeps making microtransactions over a couple of minutes. Your phone service collects the notifications, and within the minute they were back online, they sent them all at one time. It has nothing to do with the buyer or eBay. Actually, several people wrote in with their various thoughts or hypotheses to this question that I posed last week, but I think Rubber Wilbur has basically said it the best. So thank you for that, sir. Outlaw Vintage 7693 said, Joe, I've had 4 item not received claims in 2 weeks. All the tracking showed that they were delivered. I just update the tracking on the item not received alert. I have never had that many in this short of a time. Crazy. Same here. I'm getting them like crazy, and I do exactly what Outlaw Vintage does. I'll upload the tracking. I don't call UPS or the post office. I'm not in the shipping business, okay? If somebody wants to open an item not received case, that's fine. I will work through the system. And I'll tell you more about that as we go along. I got an interesting story for you. Dennis Copper wrote, LMAO. When a buyer on eBay says, contact USPS or UPS, who do they think they are? No buyer on eBay ever can tell me what to do. It's a great no-no. I let it all play out in real time without my help. Very well said, Dennis. He just basically echoed what I just said. Dennis went on to say, Joe brings up a great point. When selling on eBay, Dennis Copper went on to say, Joe brings up a great point. When selling on eBay, don't refund the buyer when the item appears to be lost. Let eBay's system turn on. Otherwise, the buyer will have your item plus all the money back. When I buy on eBay, my item gets here when it gets here. I order things way ahead of time because I plan. Zero stress life. Oh, Dennis, man, buddy, you have to stop by sometime so we can have a coffee together. I totally agree with you. And as long as we're on this subject, let me do a little bit of a breakaway, if I may. Not a cutaway, a breakaway from the comments. And let me give you an update on what's going on with a difficult customer. You may remember either last week or the week before, I think it was last week, I told you how 2 different items have basically went missing. Meaning I shipped them out on time, they got to the hub, and then they just stopped their journey. They stopped on the scan. 2 different buyers contacted me. Buyer number 1 contacted me, let's say at 7 a.m. Before I even got to respond, he opened the case, which I don't mind at all. The buyer has the right to open a case if the item does not get to him in a timely manner. I do not fault the buyer whatsoever. Okay? The second buyer contacted me through eBay and said, "Where's my item?" And he wanted me to call and find out what happened to it. I'm not calling anybody. All right? So I wrote back to him. You may remember I told him, and I said, "Listen, it's too soon to do anything. You have to wait a full 7 days. But when the time elapses, open a case. eBay will handle it." eBay is very, very good at this, okay? All right, you know me. If I say something doesn't work right, I come out and I say there's a problem. But with the return system, if it shows delivered, you have nothing to worry about. If it shows it only made it halfway, most of the time, you're covered, and I'll explain as we go along. All right? So I told this guy to go ahead and open a case. I said, wait 2 more days. I said, you're too ambitious. By the way, the item was $18. 18 freaking dollars. All right? So, 2 days go by. What do you think he does? Does he open the case like I told him? No. He calls me here. So he calls me here. I said to him, "Why are you calling me here at my personal number? You don't have that right. You didn't call me here to buy it. You bought it on eBay. I specifically told you to open a case on eBay and they will handle it." Well, you know, He couldn't give me a straight answer why he's not following directions. I said, as soon as we hang up, just open an item not received case on eBay. I said, do not call me back. I said, okay, okay. So believe it or not, as soon as I got him off the phone, he did exactly what I told him to do. He opened up the item not received case on eBay. I got the message saying my funds were on hold, this and that, and I think it took about 2 minutes, if that, for eBay to issue a decision. They found in both our favors, meaning they gave the buyer his money back because it shows the item has stopped halfway to his house. But I did everything right too, so they let me keep my money. That's eBay seller protection at work. I mean, it's only $18 plus shipping, but still, I honestly believe at some point the buyer will receive that item, all right? I've been getting a lot of people complaining about slow delivery times this time of year, and it's to be expected. But like Dennis Copper said in the comment I read earlier, don't ever, ever refund him on your own. Don't do it, guys. Up it. Kick the situation upstairs. Let eBay handle it. You are protected, okay? Next comment. 1960 Blue Bug. Joe, you had me going nuts when I first started your video. I saw you waving and talking, but no sound coming through. I thought, oh crap, what's wrong with my laptop? I started messing with it, the volume controls, and nothing. Then you came into the office and explained. I just had to laugh at myself. Good one, Joe. Yeah, guys, I thought you'd laugh at that last week when I stood outside. I made like I was yelling and screaming because of the lousy weather we have. So yeah, I'm glad I brought a smile to your guys' faces. 1960 Blue Bug went on to say, Joe, do you think it would do any good if eBay reduced the time frame to pay on best offers from 4 days to, let's say, 24 hours or maybe 48 hours? It's better than eBay, as Dennis Kopp likes to call them, of doing nothing about the issue and forcing sellers to wait a full 4 days. At least inventory won't be tied up for so long. Blue Bug, 4 days is way too long. It shouldn't be even 4 minutes as far as I'm concerned. This is e-commerce in the year 2022, for Christ's sake. Who are they kidding? And a lot of other of you guys wrote in with comments on the same issue. Some directly related and some not. Here's one about retail that I thought was very funny since I am in retail. It was written by Zippy6. When I sold suits in a fancy clothing store, every day we would get customers try on a suit, say it's the best suit that ever fit them, etc., and that they would be back. We put it in the back room on the be back rack, and the next day they were put back on the sales floor, LOL, meaning the person never came in to make the purchase. Terrible, absolutely terrible. I have that happen here quite a bit, and I have a way to handle it. A little different than the way Zippy did. I can tell when I'm dealing with a person whether they're going to buy an item or not. I've been doing this here since 1994. I think I know what I'm doing. So if a guy comes in, I show him an item that he wants, that he needs. He says, how much? I give him a price. There are 3 things he's going to do. 2 of them are good. Either he's going to pull out his credit card and say, do you accept Visa? Number 2, he's going to say, oh gosh, I bought one from you last year. It was only $30. Do you think you could help me out on the price a little? That's fine and acceptable. That's a serious buyer. The third kind is what I'm going to call, I don't want to use the word liar, but they're definitely not telling the truth. They'll say something like what they said to Zippy. And what they say to me, and it's always the same, what are your hours on Saturday? There's no reason they should say this. I'll say to them, I got good news and bad news. The good news is we're open regular hours Saturday. The bad news, you're not coming. I will look you in the face and I will tell you you're not coming back. And they look at me like a deer in the headlights. I say, if you were going to buy this, it's only $30. You'd buy it right now. Now come on, you're not coming back, are you? And then usually they'll man up and they'll say, no, I'm not coming back. I just don't want to put $30 into this old car. I'm really, really perplexed why people will lie to my face and tell me they're coming when they have no intention of coming back. When I go to a store, if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to buy it. I'm not going to jerk the guy around. I would certainly not lie to him and say I'm coming back. I just don't get it. I now have 2 comments to read that are similar in nature. They're both about the fact that eBay still does not require immediate payment on best offers. One is from Smoker's Cough 2907, and the other one is from Mr. Choo Choo 2483. We'll do Smoker's Cough first. eBay is stuck in 1999 and refuses to progress with the times. There is no excuse for the best offer feature to be abused the way it has been. I sell not only on eBay, but Poshmark and Mercari. The sites have a lot in common, but guess what the last 2 have that eBay doesn't? Binding buyer offers. People still offer on my items all the time and pay up for them. eBay's fear of buyers leaving the site due to a binding offer is unwarranted. As for the dancers and magicians, I've seen a 40% increase from last year in the amount hitting up my store. Some are clearly buying accounts from competitors, but some are established accounts with excellent feedback that don't pay me even when the offer is accepted within minutes. Then my item is usually one with multiple watches. It gets stuck in limbo for 4 days. It's archaic, and it's a feast for trolls. Well said, Smoker's Cough, and I'm with you 100%. All right? It's definitely happening, and it's abuse. It needs to be stopped. We were given promises, and the promises went unfulfilled. Mr. Choo Choo 2483 wrote, "How hard can it really be for them to set up a system where an item stays visible and available for purchase after a best offer is accepted and awaiting payment? The logical system, in my opinion, would be as follows. Buyer A sends best offer. Offer is accepted. They still have 4 days to pay, but if buyer B comes along and buys it, or a best offer is accepted before the 4 days, then buyer A's transaction gets automatically canceled. Repeat this process until the item is actually paid for. All while the item is still up for grabs by people that buy now with immediate payment. Sellers no longer have to worry whether or not a buyer is actually going to pay for the item. People who are looking for that particular item and will actually pay will be able to find it. And these deadbeat bidders can still get the thrill they seem to get by buying and not paying. Everyone wins." Maybe that's too much to ask for, but I've seen much more sophisticated features by other tech companies in the modern era. Mr. Choo Choo, you ought to run for freaking president. Or, at the very least, you deserve a place in the hierarchy of eBay. Okay? Because you would definitely make things better. I know it. Smoker's Cough replied, "I'd happily use this system and promote it to others who I know who have left eBay as a result of their terrible best offer policies. The amount of trolls that use the feature to get their competitors' items off the market is out of control. Something has to be done." Again, I totally agree. It's funny. No, I shouldn't say funny. It's sad. This is coffee, by the way. And for those who keep crying about me not drinking eggnog, I can only drink that when I'm home. So if I film part 2 of this video from home, you'll see some eggnog, otherwise you won't. But anyway, it's sad that eBay sellers know how to do things, have reasonable workarounds for these problems, and the powers that be at eBay rebuff them. I myself, guys, you know me. I am lucky enough to know a lot of the eBay hierarchy. And believe me, please believe me, I presented these ideas and others to them. And you know what they all say? You know what the stock answer seems to be? "That sounds like an interesting idea, Joe. I'm going to send this off to the team that handles it." That is the stock answer. I've gotten it many times. The team that handles it. Somewhere in San Jose, in eBay headquarters, is an office. And on the outside of the door, on the plaque, it says, "The team that handles it." And if you walk in, you know what's there? An empty conference table and no chairs around it. Crazy, man. All right, 74 Bowtie wrote in, "Hi, Joe. I have one complaint about sellers on eBay. This goes along with the fitment in the seller's listing. When I do a search for a specific item and it fits 1 or 2 years of a certain make and model, and the eBay search comes up with 10,000 listings for the search, and 99.9% of them have nothing to do with the part I'm looking for. It's all because I believe the seller put in their list every make and model to get more views on their parts. I hate sifting through all the crap to find the part I need." You, 74 Bowtie, obviously know your way around eBay Motors, and you are right. I'm going to do a video in the near future on seller abuse in eBay Motors. It's going to be a screenshot video, and I'm going to show you cases where sellers will type whole paragraphs of ridiculous nonsense that has nothing to do with the parts they're selling. For instance, let's just say they're selling a taillight for a 55 Chevy. They will put in race car, lead sled, hypo, GM, fast, modification, 1975, 1976, 1977, 1978, etc., etc. I mean paragraph after paragraph. Next time I come across one of these jokers, I swear to God, I am going to do a very short cutaway video about seller abuse in eBay Motors, and it's widely being complained about in the Facebook groups. Naturally, nothing is done about it, and don't waste your time clicking report this item, because like Dennis Copper says, that wire goes to a dead link. It's not connected to anything. Joey knows because Joey's tried. The last comment I'm going to read is from Detour Moore 470. Thanks, Joe. Best eBay content on YouTube. We tune in every Friday. Thank you for that good comment, and thank you all for the comments I've read and for those that I didn't read. It is time to get into some new topics. We're going to start with the eBay holiday gift. How many of you good sellers received a gift from eBay this week, a holiday gift? It was being talked about quite a bit in the Facebook groups. We all got basically the same thing, just a different variation, and I'm going to show you mine right now. And it comes along with a card, which I will show you. Look at you grow. I'll read it to you real quick. As we wrap up 2022 and look back at everything we've achieved, I want to thank you for your continued partnership and support. Your passion for selling is truly inspiring, and I'm honored that you put down roots and grown your business at eBay. In celebration of the holidays and the new year, please accept these gifts as a token of my appreciation. I hope they help you sow seeds of success for 2023. Here's wishing you a wonderful holiday season and a prosperous new year from me, my team, and every eBay employee. As always, thank you for selling on eBay. Adam Ireland, VP, U.S. Markets. So yeah, and it came with this too. All right, so thank you for the gift, folks at eBay. And those of you guys watching this video, in the comment section, please tell us yes or no, did you receive this gift? Somebody in the Facebook groups brought up an interesting comment about this. These were shipped by FedEx. Okay? I go out of my way not to ship anything sizable with the post office. They've been absolutely horrendous lately. They're even messing up my first class shipments. So yeah. Okay. This week was kind of unusual. eBay-wise, I didn't have any deadbeat bidders at all. Hard to believe, but true. I did have quite a few late payers, meaning if the person purchased an item from me on a Monday, they didn't pay till, let's say, late Wednesday or early Thursday. Quite a few of them. And I'm not talking about your zero feedbackers. I'm talking about people with 2,000 and 3,000 transactions under their belt. Now, conversely, let's talk about Joey. I sniped 2 items last week. Sniping, of course, means it's an auction and you wait 10 seconds before the item's about to end and you click your bid in. You enter your bid in. That's what I do. That's how I get good deals. So I won 2 different items that way last week. And immediately after I won the items, I refreshed my screen, I clicked pay now, and I paid. Because that's the right thing to do as a buyer. Okay? Not jerk around and wait 4 days. This is a serious business. Sellers have bills to pay, families to feed, this, that, and the other thing. And I always pay my bills right away. And I expect the same back. And unfortunately, as we talked about earlier, that's just not happening. Let me just take another sip of coffee and we'll move on. Guys, it's been many, many weeks since I told you any life stories. There are so many different things I could talk about, but I thought of one from approximately 1988 that I think will fit in very well. It has to do with insurance scams. Back in 1988, I was working in the junkyard. And one day, it was either a Thursday or a Friday, I get a call from an insurance company. Let's say ABC Insurance Company. And they say, Hi Joe, our customer has a 1988 Nissan Sentra and they got their hubcaps stolen. Do you have 4 hubcaps for a 1988 Sentra? And of course I did. And back then the car was fairly new. It was maybe at most 6 months old. Okay? I said, yes, I have them. So they said, all right, we're going to send the customer to you. You sell him the 4 hubcaps, give him a receipt. He'll turn it into us and get reimbursed, which is a very common thing. Tire shops do it too. Body shops do it. They'll come in, they'll buy something, they'll give them a receipt, and they'll turn it in to get reimbursed. So, no problem. So the next day, these 2 guys come in with this Nissan Sentra. And I remember their name. I remember the guy's name so vividly because it's kind of unusual, but kind of not. But I'm not going to say the name on here. So he comes in with his Nissan Sentra. He tells me his name. Hi, I'm John Smith. I'm here. My insurance company called you for 4 hubcaps. I said, yes, I have them in stock. They're $35 each. Oh, no. Why you do this? I am your customer. I am your friend. Why you charge so much? I said, listen, I charge $35 each. You have to hand the bill in to your insurance company and they'll reimburse you. No, I don't want hubcap. I want money. You want money? So I realized what he's trying to do. He says, you give me money. I said, I ain't giving you anything. Instead of me selling him the 4 hubs, he thinks, he doesn't know how insurance companies work. He thinks I'm going to pay out of my pocket. This guy's a freaking real space cadet. Be reasonable. Is that the last price? I said to him, you know what? I don't think we're going to be dealing. So he left. And I thought that was the end of it. Maybe around a week goes by, and a guy comes in, a big guy in his suit, authoritative looking guy, and he flashes a shield. Myself and my friend were working the counter, and he says, hi, I'm Bill Jones. I'm an insurance investigator for ABC Company. I'm following up on a claim that was filed by a Mr. John Smith. And I have a receipt here saying you sold him 4 brand new hubcaps for $400. I said, what? I said, that guy's a screwball. I said, he was in here last week, but I didn't sell him anything. I said, $400? I said, number one, I only have used, and number two, they're $35 each. And he says, that's what I thought. He says, take a look at this receipt and tell me if this is your signature. And he shows me a receipt from the junkyard that I'm working at on their letterhead that this guy had somehow stolen, that we didn't see him steal. And he wrote something to the effect, sold 4 brand new Nissan Sentra hubcaps to Mr. John Smith for $400. And he signed a name. And he didn't even sign my name. He, like a made-up name, like Bill Jones. And we looked at that receipt and we said, there's nobody even working here named that. This is definitely fraud. And the insurance investigator said, you know something? That's kind of what I thought. All right, I'll take care of it. And I said to him, listen to me. I said, this guy is a worse kind of scumbag to do something like this. I said, if you need me to testify, I will do it. He said, no, you don't have to worry. We'll handle this ourselves. Don't you worry. And I never heard any more about it. But that guy, that crazy nut job, I'll always remember him. Okay, guys, I'm back now. Some things have changed. Some things haven't. You can see it's still raining. No surprise there. But I have an update on an item not received case that we were talking about earlier in the video. You may remember I told you I had 2 cases. But something very, very different has occurred. Case number 1 I told you about earlier in the video, where the guy circumvented the eBay process and tried calling me here. And I said to him, no, you got to open a case. Well, he did, as you know. And within 2 minutes, eBay saw that the transaction, that the item had gotten halfway to the guy's residence, and it died. It was only $18. They gave him his money back. They let me keep mine because of seller protection. Very quick resolution. No big deal. Now, the second case that I had was actually opened a day or 2 before the case I just told you about. But it was the same situation, except the item was $22, and I shipped it with UPS, not the post office. It also showed that it made it to Detroit and then fell off the radar. However, when that buyer opened the case, even though the circumstances were the same, they didn't settle his case right away. They kept it open for 5 business days. Then they did the same thing. They closed the case, gave the buyer his money back, let me keep my money because of seller protection. And yeah, the only difference is the first case was with the post office. The second one was with UPS. Is there some kind of a difference that I don't know about? That when we ship with the post office, item not received cases are basically handled instantly as opposed to UPS? I was not aware of that, but I don't know, there's something to this, and I don't quite know what's going on yet. If any of you guys have any information, talk to me. I want to hear it. In line with the customer I told you about that circumvented the eBay return process by trying to call me here, well, I can tell you this. It's happening to other eBay Motors sellers too. The other day I was on eBay checking for deals to see if I could buy anything to flip, and I came across some of my competition. I saw they had quite a few negative feedback, so I clicked to see what the complaints were, and one buyer said something like, and he left a long comment, item not as described, I'm very unhappy with this lazy seller because I tried calling him at had his phone number and he refused to pick up the phone. Refused to pick up the phone. I commend that seller. I commend him. He's not a bad seller. How dare you take the transaction off eBay? This seems to be something that is basically confined to eBay Motors. All eBay Motors sellers seem to be having this problem. I really wish eBay would make a policy, a strict policy, not to contact your seller off eBay if there's a problem. Keep it on eBay where the purchase went down. If I was that eBay Motors seller, I would definitely call into eBay and report that guy in a hot second. And you know I would. So yeah. Oh gosh, guys, I've kept you long enough today. I guess we'll bring it to a close now. Remember that I'm Crazy New York Driver and you're not. Every Friday I make these videos to try and help you stay successful as an eBay seller. If you think I'm doing a good job, please leave me a thumbs up. It tells me I'm on point and appreciated. If you don't think I did a good job, tell me in the comments section what you want me to hit up, and I'll try my very best to do it next week. Guys, I hope your sales were good. I think it's going to be slow now. From this point on, I think it's going to be slow till January 2nd. I hope I'm wrong, but that's my prediction. Next Friday night will be my last video of 2022. How fast this year went. But it was a good year. Sales-wise, was a very good year. Weather-wise, not so much. Guys, go out there, make a ton of money on eBay, rock on, and peace! And answer me this question. How do you want to proceed?